Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, January 22nd, and pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that brings us to a roll call, please.
Mccoskey?
Here.
Edricks?
Yes.
Height?
Here.
Lindeman?
Here.
Newman?
Here.
Snyder? Thorne? Weber?
Here.
Okay, thank you, Tabitha. That brings us to approval of the agenda. Here, a motion to approve. There is one modification under new business item A. Council's already heard the resignation of James Clark, so when we get to that point, we're just going to need to motion to accept that resignation. That's the only thing that there was.
Okay, I'll move to approve the agenda as amended. Second.
All right, motion by Lindman, second by Newman. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, that brings us to approval of the minutes from October 23rd, 2025.
They look fine.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either.
I make a motion to approve the amendments from the meeting of October 23rd, 2025.
Okay, motion by Newman,
second.
second by Lindman. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay. We have no public hearing or correspondence. There's no call to the public. That does bring us to new business item A, the resignation of James Clark. We need to have a motion to accept the resignation of James Clark.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of Jim Clark.
Okay, motion by Weber. Second?
I'll second.
Second by Brzezowski. All discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. That brings us to new business item B, Commission applicant Cody McCain. In your packet, you should have seen his application, and we're very excited. How you doing, Cody?
Hello all, my name is Cody McCain. I reside at 1610 Ladd Road. You all already have my application, so if you have any questions, comments, etc., I'm here to answer them.
Okay,
Just as a comment, I've been working with Cody on Parks and Rec for a couple of years now. We've hosted a couple of fishing contests and things, and he's really instrumental in keeping that board going, and I think would be a valuable member to this board.
agreed. Yeah, I've heard good things too. Thanks for applying, Cody.
Of course.
So, Cody, other than what's in your application, what do you think you can bring to the Planning Commission?
I think for me, the two perspectives I can bring is, of course, the Parks and Rec perspective and the onwards and upwards perspective in community engagement and community enrichment through a nonprofit lens as well as an activity lens. And I think that that can be helpful when it comes to planning out our community over time, as well as what different ordinances can look like in the future. I think the other perspective I bring is that I'm a young person and I'm one of the few young people in our government, and I think that that can be really constructive at times because there are certain technologies and certain things available today that weren't available to us, and I think that I can bring that to the table as well.
Have you seen our ordinance book yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that's probably a good thing, because if you did, you might not have applied based on the size of it. But I would, so thank you for applying, and if you do go to the next step, I would make I definitely make sure you study the master plan, which we just did, and don't let Tabitha intimidate you with the ordinance book too much.
Okay, so then we need a motion to recommend to council that they appoint Cody
Yes.
as a commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we
Second.
send to council and a recommendation to approve Cody as a planning commissioner.
Okay, motion by Lindman, second by Fredericks. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks,
All right.
Cody. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, that brings us to new business item C, site plan review for 1655 Glengarry Daycare. Applicant Steve Aarons is here. And how you doing tonight, Steve?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good.
Good evening, Commissioners. Submitted the package, let's call it the best I could. I did miss some things I see and was corrected by your third party. And I see you want 2 weeks' notice, and I get that too. I've served on a commission also as a chairman, so I know exactly what you folks go through. So I don't know what you want from me tonight. If you want me to answer questions, I'm prepared to. If you want me to answer all the questions with the revised drawings that they want to and resubmit, I'd be happy to do that. As an overall thing, so that you know, we live in this community. We're not flipping this building. We're interested in putting this daycare in there that we're going to run. As members of the community, I do worry also about the look of it and the facade and the appearance and the traffic and everything with that too. So, and I'm not a big fan of walls. I'd rather do greenery, but whatever you folks want, you get. It's not a problem from our end, but I'd like to approach it that way. But you tell me what you'd like me to do at this point, and I'd be prepared to do it without a problem, whatever you need.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Shayna, did you have any questions?
Yeah, so I know, we have about 10 pages or so here. If it's okay, I'll flip through them, but I won't do it verbatim. We'll just kind of go by section and talk real quick, and then we could probably have a discussion.
Sounds great.
Mr. Aarons. So let's apply these standards. So of course we have an application for childcare at 1655 Glengarry. This is an existing building on a site that's currently vacant, so we're not starting brand new. This is in the C1 local business district, and it's a special land use. So basically in this packet, we're looking at, in terms of special land use, is this a good site for the daycare? And then beyond that, how do we bring the site into compliance for a typical site plan review? The surrounding area is largely single-family residential, and the only exception really in the immediate neighborhood is the Fraternal Order of Eagles, directly to the west. Starting on page 3, we're looking at the special land use approval standards. Letter A talks about location, and basically location refers to, is this a good location in terms of traffic generation? The standard states that heavier traffic is ideal more so on Benstein, Glengarry, and South Commerce roads. And of course, we know this is on Glengarry, so really that standard's kind of met right away. We do still ask some follow-up questions like, due to the nature of the business, we could talk a little bit more about what traffic generation looks like in terms of, are the children going to be here all day? Are they some there for the morning, some afternoon? Basically, how many cars are going in and out of this lot during the day? Going down to B, we talk about site design, and site design has some subsections in itself. But number 1 talks about the screening outside of storage areas, activity areas, and mechanical equipment. Again, we know that some things on this site are already existing. Really, when it comes to this standard, what we're most concerned about is the activity area. So how do we want to go about screening the activity area with the residential neighbors? We asked some follow-up questions such as, how many times a day might this be used? Are all of the children going out at once or in smaller groups? Is it going to be more of a playground like equipment, or are they kind of just playing out in the field? We did see a fence on the site plan, which is good. We know it has to be fenced by state code. We just wanted to know more about like the type of fence, how tall is it, things like that. We get in here on page 4, we start talking about landscaping. Landscaping's the hot topic. I think we all see that landscaping's the hot topic in this review. So it comes up on this page, it comes up later. I will try not to be redundant. Long story short, the south end of the property does already have some greenery. The site plan shows that there will be 26 deciduous trees there. We do think that overall the south side looks pretty good. the east property line right up against that residential neighbor, that could use some screening. The applicant, Mr. Aaron's, does have some options in terms of fencing or greenery, things like that. So the commission can kind of talk about what they want to see there. It sounds like they would rather have some greenery, so we can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Number 2 talks about the screening of vehicular circulation in parking areas. So, sorry, let's see. Okay, yeah, so we talked about there's supposed to be some screening along Glengarry right there. Technically, there's supposed to be 6 trees provided within the buffer strip. We said that maybe stormwater, there should be some shrubs installed in that area instead based on the vision clearance and the stormwater running. So we offered maybe talking to the engineer about that. It's kind of complicated. They have a buffer strip there already, but there's some wiggle room on how we might want them to screen Glengarry. In addition to the parking lot against the road, the parking lot itself is required to have 10 trees, I want to say, in the parking lot. And we said that because the parking lot's existing, maybe they could throw those on the east property line. It's a little confusing, so I apologize for that. But long story short, it sounds like we need a little bit of greenery along Glengarry, and we need some screening around the east property line. The ordinance wants to know about the hours of operation. Mr. Aaron's told me that the proposed hours of operation are about 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We don't see that really having a negative impact on the neighborhood. And the bulk placement and materials of construction, how that is going to be in relationship to the proposed use or into the surrounding uses. And this, we know this is an existing building, so that standard is pretty okay as it is. Going down to letter C, talks about enhancement of neighborhood environment. It basically, number 1 says that the planning commission could require additional landscaping if they wanted to. That's up to them. Really, the only other place you might want to talk about it is the west property line near the Fraternal Order of Eagles. And this is kind of just repeating the same kind of stuff, not detrimental to surrounding development. We state that the nearby area, again, is residential homes, it's local businesses. We don't see the childcare being a nuisance in the surrounding area. That's basically it for the special land use criteria. Going down onto page 7, we just get into typical site plan review standards. We talk about parking, and so parking calculations were not provided on the site plan. I did look at the aerial, which seemed like there were about 37 spaces on site. Long story short, I have the standard here for child care centers. There needs to be 1 parking space for each teacher, administrator, or employee, etc. There needs to be more if there's an assembly hall and things like that. It didn't look like there's going to be an assembly hall on the floor plan. Basically, I said, it looks like there's about 37 spaces on site. I don't know if that's completely accurate. We can basically just verify that, and then we'll see if it meets it. I'm not too concerned about parking because that's quite a bit of space. And then drop off and pick up will play into that too, when we talk more about the arrangement with when the parents will be in and out. So that's it for parking. Site access and circulation. We know, again, it's an existing site. There is 1 ingress and 1 egress onto the site. You enter in, you go in a loop around the building, and you leave. So the parking lot's going to stay as is. And again, we ask, how are kids going to be picked up and dropped off in that location safely? Is there going to be a dedicated area where the kids go? Do they need to be walked in by their parent? How does that work? There's a lot of language starting on page 8 about the landscaping, but I really already talked about it. I was trying to bounce back and forth because it's just a lot of wording spread throughout the review, but it's basically, we'll talk about how we want to go about that east property line and along Glengarry as well. And floor plans and elevations. On the floor plans, It looks like there are rooms designated for children upstairs and downstairs. It seems like there were, some spaces more so for the younger kids upstairs, older kids downstairs. There's a kitchen with a dining area. There's an enrichment room, which I expected to be for multiple age groups. We kind of just asked, how does this compare to the existing floor plan? What are we changing about the building? And kind of the same question about the elevations. Mr. Aaron's did provide elevations of the building. It seemed like it matches up with what's out there right now, the same height, looks like the same facade, and there were no notes about proposed materials and things like that. So we just want to verify if anything is going to change. And if it's not, we would like a note to say so. And if it is, let's talk about what that looks like. And then same thing with lighting. And the site plan shows 5 exterior lights. Not many details were provided. We want to know, are these the existing lights? Are the lights changing? And if so, what do they look like? So that's about it. In the conclusion, we give this list of questions asking about the use itself, number of children, number of employees, what are their schedules like, pick up, drop off, the things I said like that. And then parking, we need to just know the number of parking spaces, the issues with landscaping, and then just verify any changes to the floor plans, elevations, and lighting. I think that's where we're at, so thank you.
So Shayna, just a question. We referenced the site plan, but we don't have one in our packet. So, we have the aerial.
Okay, you guys haven't seen the site plan?
So,
I was going to bring that up too, yeah. Good point.
so maybe I have so one, I think we need to see that
Okay.
to help give us a feel. So that this property was a bar for a long, long time. And then it was several bars, actually. Then the bars went out of business and became a church, I think, for a short period of time. And Tabitha could probably correct me, but I think it's been vacant, got to be 10 years. Plus or minus that. So I think the surrounding residential area would be much happier with a daycare than another bar going in, if I was a neighbor. But it does, so I have a question, maybe it's for Shayna. So our ordinance would prohibit a bar or a liquor store from going in, I think it's 500 feet from a school or a church or something like that. This is kind of the opposite, where we're looking at putting a daycare, which is kind of akin to a school, kind of right next to the Eagles.
Which has a bar.
Which is a bar. Probably not too far, kitty corner to the Commerce Market, which is a liquor store, and probably further than 500 feet from the Glengarry. Should we be concerned with that?
So I actually brought that up to Sally when I first saw this application, and she said that technically speaking, it's allowed to go next to the Order of the Eagles. Whether you want to consider that as far as a location issue with the special land use standards, that's kind of why this is a special land use and it's up for negotiation. But in terms of the exact ordinance standards, it can go next to the Fraternity of the Eagles.
Okay.
And did she tell you why that was? Is it because Eagles isn't considered an adult use, or because this isn't considered a school?
I'm thinking it's because the Order of Eagles isn't exactly a bar.
You
But
have to be a member.
But I completely understand what you're saying. I genuinely raised it to Sally the day I saw this. And not because I don't want them to go.
It bothers
just
any of
because I saw it.
us. We just don't want to break some law that ends up screwing somebody over.
Sally's the type, you've known her for a while. She's very thorough
said
and
it, I
things like
believe it.
that. So when she tells me right away she wasn't worried about it, I didn't even second guess it. I will say that. And I think I even looked in the ordinance and I tried finding something that, would support the opposite, and I didn't find anything, so.
Well, and given the hours of operation, the child care center is going to close by 6, so it's not going to overlap really with.
At least if it's like the daytime. I mean, if there's people in there, maybe it won't be it's not going to be the rowdy nighttime type of bar environment. Be a couple people grabbing a beer or something.
So with that, and I'm fine with that, but the kids are going to be outside. and I know we've got a fence on the south side, but in the play area is, and maybe it's on the site plan, but is the play area that the kids are going to be in, is it going to be fenced in?
Yes, by law it has to be.
Okay, so
But
that's,
it's also on the south side too. I don't know what happened to my drawings. I submitted 15 copies. I did.
okay,
Sorry.
we believe you, but we,
Do you want?
we'll get
could we
past
do
it.
that?
They might be upstairs.
Tabitha said she's got copies upstairs.
Okay.
I grabbed one.
I have a copy right here.
Yeah.
But if Tabitha's gonna grab them, then I'll just wait.
So maybe, I don't know if I should ask questions if Tabitha's not here to,
You shouldn't.
yes. I'll hold off.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, I'm not smacking that mic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tabitha.
These are the ones that are actually the site plan with the 15 copies. Those are actually elevations.
Thank you very much.
Here. You guys want to share my new plan, because I don't need them right now. Floor plans.
This is the
Okay.
and that's just the elevations. What's coming in today? Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I've got it.
No worries.
You guys can do mine, and then
Right? Pointing that.
this is the floor plan.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got it.
Bring the glasses.
So, I see it.
This would
I know,
be
so it's hard if you get
Good.
it thrown at you right now.
Glengarry.
No, good for that. And we're pretty familiar with the site because it's
Oh, do you?
been vacant for quite a while. And
I
This
apologize
would-
for it. I couldn't, the paper was too big. I couldn't scan it to email it to you. And I just forgot to put them on the table before the
I
meeting.
can give you a PDF of it for the next one. You can just email it. That makes it easy for you.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
so, Mr. Ernst, what's your proposed or what's your estimated timing? When do you want to open the doors?
We'd really like to be open for the fall. Maybe a couple camps during the summer, but by fall time, as school starts.
So we recently went through something with the church up the street, and I just want to kind of manage expectations on both sides so that we know, since we only meet once a month, we should probably understand what is our timing. Because if special land use, we have to have a public hearing. So that's going to require advance notice in a meeting. And then it would have to go through, then the commission would have to render a decision, because it's special land use, this has to go to the board or to the commission,
The council.
the council. So so I'm just trying to understand what all the dates are so that both of us are managing our expectations on timing, and so we can be as efficient as we can through this process. But there's several checkpoints that have to get put in place before it goes to council, ultimately then for final approval. So maybe I say that more for myself, so that we're just keeping track of what we can accomplish this meeting, what we should try to accomplish the next meeting, when the public hearing needs to be, when the notice in the newspaper needs to go for the public hearing, et cetera. So we check all these boxes, and we don't wind up delaying it for longer than it needs to be.
And I'm not trying to skirt anything, don't take it this way, but are you folks allowed to pass like a provisionary thing so it can move forward, but then I have to meet all your criteria? You're gonna still see drawings and everything in a week, I'll give you everything. But I don't know if there's something you can do, because I saw it in the ordinance, like even like the screening, like, let's say I was blessed in April, we're good, beginning of April, ground's frozen, we can't dig and put in plants, but you have on there, the C of O won't be issued until we meet everything. And I have no problem doing, like I say, whatever you folks need, but is there any way to move it forward?
It's funny because I was going to ask almost that same question about the greenery. Sometimes because of when that has to be put in, as long as we know they're working on it or something, they can, I think that's what happened with the last place.
Yeah, we set a precedent with that. on a
The-
condition they had to replace
With
that.
provision that it's going to be done by such a time, you know,
Right.
of course, it's ground's frozen, you can't do it now and all that stuff, so, but, yeah.
I think it depends on what that provision is. So if it's
Yeah.
something like landscaping, that's pretty easy. If
Right.
it's a safety fence, or if it's something with a building, or
Yeah.
something more meaty, then probably not. So we're.
Right, you have to have the
sure
fence
that's-
in before you can have kids playing in the play area.
100%.
I mean, that's.
The state
that's
will not
easy to
grant your
understand.
license without it.
Right.
So that, we don't plan any changes to the exterior size of the building or anything. We might do some cleanup, some caulking and painting type thing, but we're not changing materials. It's going to stay just like it is, maybe a color change, but 3/4 of the bottom is brick. And then so you have the gable ends in the back. And so,
I did have a question, and I was going to say that the young guy can sit next to me next time because I can't read this tiny little stuff, and I'm the old guy.
I can bring you
I
bigger
know I don't
drawings,
look it,
too.
but I'm the old guy. What is the fence going to be made out of?
it'll be a 4-foot chain link fence for the play area.
Okay.
Yeah, with a gate. Yep.
And are you planning a playground or?
Yeah, there'll be a playground there, but not like a playground structure, just play areas. It won't be a built structure like that type of thing, but activities, things in there for them.
How many kids?
53 maximum, but it will depend on the final state inspection.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's the most that can fit in there. I don't think it will go that high.
I don't recognize it's more than one floor?
Yeah, the first floor is what you see, then the other one's a basement.
Okay.
That's why you don't see the area, yeah. A lot of daycares are 40 to 50 kids is a pretty normal size when you go by a daycare.
And my other question was for, what did you say?
Shayna.
Shayna?
Yeah.
I wanted to say Shana. Okay, Shayna. If this was a church before, why isn't there screenings and stuff existing now?
So I will say I'm not sure exactly when the church operated. However, when this parking lot was redone, I think it was 2022, Sally did write a review saying that along with the parking lot, landscaping needs to be brought into compliance, and that just didn't happen.
Okay, that makes sense. And on this drawing, is the parking here? Am I seeing?
No, it's
Not slotted out, I didn't put the individual spaces in, I probably should have.
But I mean, where is it?
It's all around.
All around it?
Yeah, it kind
okay.
of rings around the border of the
Yeah,
property.
it goes from the west
Quarter
to
of
the
the
east side of
lot.
the property and then so far back to the south.
So your play area, they cross the, yeah, I saw, oh, you
Yeah,
have
you have to walk through the parking
Yeah, my
lot,
picture didn't
correct?
come out very good.
Okay. So the play area is gonna be separate
Yes,
from the building?
not connected, correct.
That's not a problem?
It's fenced in the yard, it's fenced in the grass
I
area.
mean, but it's not up against the building,
Right.
so
No, that's fine, yeah.
okay, yeah, I don't know the rules.
So Shane, a lot of the discussion was on deciduous trees. And I can't remember this based upon the last discussion we had, but in something like this where we're talking about screening, deciduous trees, it doesn't do anything for screening versus evergreens. So do we have the flexibility to say, rather than putting in a deciduous tree, we put in evergreens, particularly for the screening along the east border? So if I'm a residential neighborhood and I have a play area, I think it would be good to have a thicker buffer along the east side. Maybe on the west side a little bit, but I guess I wouldn't be concerned. My greatest concern would be the residential area where we're going to have a playground right next to two homes. And evergreens would do a better job than deciduous.
Yeah, and so the ordinance typically gives the option whenever screening is required like that. And there is actually a spot in the review where Sally and I said something along the lines of they could do either or, but we actually think evergreens would be beneficial for the same reason.
Yeah, you actually said arborvitae's even, and
Yeah.
that's what I wanted, but the way I read the code, I thought you wanted deciduous. I'm like, I'd rather have evergreen there, because
Okay.
it does provide screening. I mean, when the tree grows up and it's 20 foot tall and you got the mast on the top of it and a trunk this big, that's not blocking anything.
Right.
And it's better for the residents, it's also better for the kids. It's their own defined area that way. So that's what we'd prefer, but I didn't know if it was allowable or not, because I just kept seeing deciduous. But when I saw you guys call it specifically like an arborvitae or something, that's what I was hoping for.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think, Shana, I think the list of questions you had here are great. I think it would help us to understand, traffic flow. I'm assuming when you have drop-off and pickup times, if you're going to have 53 kids, that's in theory 53 cars up to here. And how would that flow work? Because what we don't want to see is traffic gets backed up along Glengarry, east or west, going on that. So I think just showing us, I'm assuming that you would have a line going around the building and looping
Yeah,
around
correct.
for that. But I think just kind of demonstrating that or just referencing it somehow would be important.
It's not a problem.
That,
It's the same from a business standpoint. None of the parents are going to want to sit there for 20 minutes with 10 cars in front of them to get out. So we're in the same boat.
yeah.
It is really bad there, though. My son has a house on Woodbury, directly across the street, and there's these huge oaks. You can't see past those. You pull up to that thing where Glengarry Elementary is, and you pull up to there, and you look, and you can't see to turn. It's not safe. And they're like 3-4 footers. I mean, the tree blocks you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Just, I think at this point, number one, I definitely appreciate the comments and the thorough review and report that was provided. I think at this point, we kind of are left with a couple options as far as I understand. We could either make a motion to go ahead and schedule a public hearing, conditioned upon receiving the updated comments provided on page 10 and 11 of the report, or alternatively, wait to do the public hearing and just get, this information first. Seems like that's kind of where we're at, if I understand that correctly. But, yeah.
Agreed, and thank you. As a board, we, like George mentioned, there is you want to watch the timing because of the, we got to put the thing in the paper and all that stuff like that. We, as a group, as a board, always try and be as efficient as we can, just, working with you to make sure that you can get things done that you want to get done, especially when everybody's in agreement about the project, and I think everybody is. So I personally would like to do whatever we can to help move the project along in the most efficient manner possible. I don't see any reason to object to this project at all. Much rather have something there than just empty vacant building, and sounds like you're working hard to do everything right.
Yeah, I guess the question is, are we comfortable going ahead and scheduling for the February 26th meeting, the public hearing? Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
I don't know if we're in that much of a rush. But what I don't understand exactly, which would make a difference on that, is if we tell him, it sounds like you're willing to meet most of our requirements, or at least you have no problem with any of them, and we don't have any problem with what you're trying to do there, what can he start before? Can he not do anything? Is there interior work? Is there the putting in the fence? Is there-
Do you own the property?
I don't own it yet. It's conditional upon all of you saying. it's
Oh, so you haven't even bought it yet?
Correct, we have not closed. It's under
So-
first agreement.
Yeah, so he should not spend a dime
Yeah.
until you have approval, right? I
Correct.
mean,
If you
that's,
folks bless it, right. That's what I'm holding for.
Okay, so there is a hurry to get it done because he's got a whole list.
Oh, I understand. I understand. I get it.
And is there much interior work to do to the building?
And that was one of the things in here, the request was to see the existing floor plan, which I didn't furnish, I easily can, but it's really, you walk in for, I think it's 22 feet of wall, and then from after that, it's open, both floors. So the east side is 22 foot of bathrooms and offices and such not, and then after that, they're wide open. So I have to divide into the floor plan that you see there for the classrooms. So, which is not a lot of work for the interior.
Just putting up some walls.
Interior
Correct. Walls, and you got to put electrical into them and some doors and things like that. And the rest of it is just building maintenance stuff. I want to update the furnaces because the age and different things like that. But nothing on the outside would change except for maybe the color. And then the lighting, I called out lumens, but I didn't call it the fixture. You want to actually see the fixture I plan on using in
Yeah,
there? Not a problem.
typically-
Okay.
And you
I
said,
didn't know
but they're
that.
the existing though?
There's the existing locations, but they're all like mercury halogen, which we're not keeping anyway.
Okay, yeah, just
And then it'll be a
because-
head that we can.
not
direct.
because I want to be a stickler, just because that's how the
No, I
site plan
get it.
reviews work, you know? Just
I'm-
for their records, yeah.
I'm big on light pollution too, so
Yeah.
we're gonna put fixtures that can angle down so it lights up the parking lot and not into the neighbors at all.
Perfect.
We don't want to do that to anybody.
Excellent.
Well, I like Pat's idea of doing a public hearing, and then concurrent with that, I'm assuming you've got this packet that Shayna put together.
Absolutely.
So you've got the list of questions and anything else that you've heard from us today, and I think we can try to bundle those two items anyway. Again,
So when would we need those answers to be able to do a site, what did you call it, a
The public hearing.
public hearing next month?
well, Tabitha, what do we need? Is it 18 days notice or something, 18 days prior for a,
So it needs to be published in the paper 15 days before, which means ideally Tabitha has it, at least I would think for her sake, at least a few days before that, so that she can,
I have to get it in the paper, or
it needs to be in the paper 15 days, so it needs to be,
I
and
get it in the first week of February in the paper, which means I need all those answers before Thursday of next week. to
Oh, okay.
Get it
Yeah, I don't-
out and make sure.
yeah, because papers don't publish as often as they used to either, so that's a problem people run into now, whereas back in the day, the public hearing notices could kind of be sent like that day and get posted, where now you got to send it to the paper 2 weeks before you want them to post it.
so I'm,
Get it there by the end of business on the 29th to have enough time to have it published before 26th and allow it.
I have no problem getting that to you Monday or Tuesday at the latest.
You don't have a problem?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
yeah, so just so you know, our next meeting is February 26th. So but as Tabitha said, it's a big timeline anytime we have to get something published in the paper.
Understand, yeah.
Maybe just have you talked to any of the neighbors?
No, I haven't yet. So there's the people behind, I'd have to go around all the way. The one to the east, they're accessible from that property. So I was going to go talk to them about screening and planting and that. It looks like it's a strange layout, but it looks like that house used to be part of that property. There's actually like a staircase cut into it and going down to it. So I assumed at one point, maybe when it was a church, that's where the pastor lived, something like that.
No.
But either way, I was going to go talk to that resident
Yeah.
and have a discussion with them.
But yeah, because everybody within 300 feet is going to get a letter, right? So
Maybe I'll go talk to everyone then, yeah.
it's always smart, at least those that are surrounding, if you have a conversation before they get the letter,
Yeah.
then it
I'll go do that.
usually works well.
Yeah.
So he has a list of the answers that
Yep.
you've said we need.
Yeah, I was
And
going to
if
say.
we can get all those, then we will do it.
Mr. Aaron's, if it works for you, it might just be easiest for both parties if the special land use questions, asking about the use itself, you could just take this list and respond to it underneath. Question, your answer, question,
have it
your
already.
answer, question, your answer.
I can forward you, I did exactly that.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's always really convenient. And then for access and circulation, just show me those parking spaces, show your arrow, showing your circulation pattern, the landscaping on the east property line, and then around Glengarry Road, and
I'm still unsure what to do around Glengarry Road because of the visibility situation in that buffer area. The way I look at it in the 75-degree view range and the two driveways, I don't know what I can do shrubbery. If I keep it low enough,
That was the recommendation.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 shrubs already on the center and west side. It's really just the island to the east side where the monument sign is.
Yeah.
That there's nothing. And I think that Shayna had put in, at least in what we saw, was recommending something like a 36-inch bush or something that gets to that so that it doesn't affect drainage.
Yeah, we did write in the review. It looks like we wrote shrubs of 36 inches tall. What I can do is shoot you an email early next week if you want, just to make it so that there's no problems, once your next site plan is submitted. Just, I'll tell you what we think works for the number of shrubs. Does that work for you? Because I don't have an answer for you directly right in this moment. I can,
I've turned everything in through, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Is it okay just to
Oh,
send
yeah.
the drawings directly even?
I can send it to Tabitha.
Right, it'd be a preliminary, not the final. The final I bring to you, but preliminary, so you can review it and then say, do this or do that. That way, when I
Yeah,
get
and
to you,
then-
it's the way you guys want it.
If that's okay with Tabitha, then once you tweak it based on my comments, then we'll make sure it's in Tabitha's hands first.
Perfect. Working drawings only, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing at the next available meeting date, February 19th,
Or 26th.
February 26th. I'm sorry, February 26th. Thank you. And I'm not sure if I need to include all of this, but subject to CWA comments provided on page 10 and 11 of the report. I don't know if that suffices.
Yes, that's excellent.
Okay.
So we've got a motion by Brzezowski.
I'll second.
Second by Lindman. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and we look forward to being part of your community.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to item 10, pending business. We have none. Item 11, old table business. We have none. Brings us to item 12, liaison reports. Council.
Mr. Chair, we just came back from the new year, so we're just catching up after the holiday. One of the big things we were expecting was to have our audit presentation. It actually got moved to next month. It's actually funny because our auditors are being audited and they're using our audit as one of the examples. So it's going to be very thorough when we do get it presented to us. So
Money's worth.
exactly. So that's good. We did actually have Larry Gray come in and talk about the pathway system that they went and installed. And we did pass a vote to have the millage option put onto our ballot. And George, if you have any questions, he's right in there. He knows a lot more details than all of us. So service awards, and then rest of it was pretty much business as usual. So pretty easy.
Okay, yes, that's awesome report. Thank you very much. That brings us right to Parks and Rec.
Yep, Parks and Rec has been busy as usual. We set out our whole schedule of 2026 events, kicking off here March 14th with the Easter Bunny Lunch, and then we'll have our usual, we've got a blood drive now that we're doing regularly. We'll have our usual 5K run, doing the dog show that we've just done the last couple of years. It was a big hit. We've already gearing up and scheduling our Tuesdays in the park. That'll coincide with our farmers market that we're doing again this year. We'll have a couple of garage sales, the fishing contest, corn roast, and then back into the winter with Snacks with Santa and holiday decorating contest and all that good stuff. So we got a full schedule of fun laid out, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for the excellent report. That brings us right to ZBA.
Yes, ZBA met January 20th. We had one new case to discuss with the board. It was ZBA case number 25-750 for the property located at 2332 Solomon Drive. And it was for a dimensional variance to section 1250.06 setbacks for the property lines.
For a second? This is right across from my house, so I'm
Okay.
very interested. I got the letter in the mail.
Yeah.
It didn't say what the variance was for or what, so maybe if you could just, I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
So I've been
absolutely.
waiting for this.
Yeah, it was a dimensional variance for the setbacks from the property line. Basically, the applicant proposed to construct a covered porch. Applicant proposed to construct a cover over the existing front porch, basically. And with the fact that the property as a whole is considered non-conforming due to the lot and what have you, they needed to come before the board for that. So ultimately, it was approved based on the fact that it was non-conforming. They weren't adding or expanding upon the footprint of the porch. They just wanted to have that coverage, and so the board felt that all the standards were met for that.
Okay, so this is a really weird lot. When you say
Yeah.
front porch,
Right.
like what would be a front door, not a door facing the canal?
I believe it was facing north.
Okay. so it's
Okay.
front.
Yeah.
So basically the front door. Okay,
Right, the front
neither
door.
one of them would matter to me. I almost came to the meeting to say, this is fine, but I had a feeling, it's like I'm the only one who could possibly even see it.
Yeah, we got,
Except the front. You can see the front. I thought it was gonna be for the back, that maybe he wanted a bigger deck or something, but,
it sounds,
okay.
sounds like he discussed that originally and perhaps thought about including that, but then took that off the table for some coverage over the back porch. But yeah, ultimately it was just about adding, coverage over the existing front porch. And we got a few letters of support and yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
But yeah,
That's good, I'm glad. They used to have a cover over the back porch, and it was aluminum. So every drip drop, ting, 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 it was crazy. I was hoping maybe he's putting in a better one. I think it's gone, so I don't know. Anyway, good.
yeah. That's that.
Thank you. That brings us to Water Management Board, and
Paul's not here.
Paul is absent, so that brings
It's all
us
ice.
to announcements. Any announcements? No? Okay, I'd love to hear a motion to
I'll
adjourn.
move that we adjourn.
Motion by Lemon, second by Newman, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks for your time, everybody. Excellent job.
See, Cody, we're pretty efficient.
Should we turn off our mics? Oh,
Patrick, I really like your professionalism.
Oh, I tried.
Speaking from the chair and everything, it makes it look a lot classier,
Yeah.
when there's.
That house needs all the help.